go. Okay. Welcome, everyone. I am Susan Hyde. If you stumbled upon this recording, I know that there was a lot of people that wanted this information and weren't able to join live. So I'm grateful that it's recorded, and then you are able to watch it. If you need to watch the replay again, that is totally fine as well. But so if you did stumble on this recording, let me just give you a little bit of a preface or a little introduction, as I was just before I started recording, just kind of sharing that this is not my lane of, I guess you would say, of what I necessarily feel comfortable sharing. I'm not the expert in this. However, I have felt that helping others, especially the ones that are close to my heart, homemakers, bring in other streams of income for their family, that I am passionate about that because I think that especially in this season, it's we can pull back in areas of our budget and we can shop smart, and I'm all about that, right? However, when we can bring in some income, that lightens the load a little bit, right? And so I just wanted to share some of the ways that I have done this over the last, actually, it's even longer than that. I would say 25 years, because there are options. And when I'll say, as we go through these things, don't feel like, oh my gosh, I need to do all of these things. No, my hope is that there will be one thing that kind of speaks to you, or maybe something that you have already thought a little bit about. And this might just be confirmation, like, oh, yeah, let me step into that. Okay. So just to be clear, when I shared about this, I am not here to do a pitch or hard sell anybody on anything. Okay. So that's not my heart. That's not my nature. My heart is to give you information, share my experience, and then, you have that information, because had people not done that for me, like, I can't even imagine where my life would be now. So this is how we share information, especially when it comes from a place of just in a genuine and authentic heart of wanting to empower others, right? And that's my heart for you guys. So whether and I do have notes here, so forgive me if I am looking there, but I want to make sure that I stay on track with what I had kind of outlined. So whether, you are looking to make $100 a month, or maybe $500 a month, or maybe you have like bigger goals than that, I want you to feel empowered. And that is one of the things I think we need to change our mindset, not automatically thinking, oh, that's for the other person. No, that's for you. Okay. So when you can grab a hold of that and change your mindset to believe that you have something to offer and you can step into that, then doors will open for you. But if you keep a mindset of like, oh, I can't learn that, I'm no good at that, that's not, whatever, fill in the blank, right, ladies? We know we all have those voices. But if we do that, that is just going to keep the doors closed. And so you really need to be training your mind to say, there is opportunity, there is a seat at this table, and it has my name on it. And so I really want you to own that. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through 7 different income streams, many that I have used over the last 25 years that I mentioned. But not only have they worked for me, they worked for other people as well. So it's not anything that is, I don't believe in quick witch schemes of any kind. There's no such thing. And if somebody tries to sell you that, then there is something in it for them. So that is not what you're going to hear here. So we're going to explore affiliate income. And if you're unfamiliar with that term, don't worry, we'll talk about that. Creating digital products. So not necessarily the expert on all of the basis, but I will point you in the direction as we go through that. Selling on Etsy, selling on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, what options that you have there. Network marketing, that is always going to be something that I talk about. And so we'll touch on that. Teaching or tutoring. Okay, this one might be a new one that you might consider. And that can be either online or in person, and then doing homemade goods. Okay. So some of these involve social media and some don't. So some combine them. And, so wherever what that looks like for you is going to be up to you. So, but I will say, even if you use social media as a platform, there is nothing that is going to beat in-person connections still. So for me personally, yes, my social media platforms are, rather large right now, but that doesn't prevent me or keep me from doing things in person with people and meeting up with people and having those connections, right? So I just wanted to say, so I would ask yourself this question: what could I talk about for 3 hours if no one paid you? That might be your clue about some things that you are passionate about that may be able to earn you an income. So we're going to dive in to the first one, which is affiliate income. So if you are familiar with affiliate income and you're here, just give me a yes or something in the comments, because that helps me know if you guys kind of know what I'm talking about. Before I jump in there, though, I want to say, so affiliate income, for the most part, you're going to use on your social media. You're going to be sharing online and you'll be referring people with a link. Okay. So, but let me just say, if you, so my friend Leslie Burris, and if you don't know her, I have a resource page that I'm going to share, and I will link to her Instagram. So she shares that your social media, however you have done your social media in the past, either on Facebook or Instagram, that is you. And oftentimes, if you've considered doing like business with, your platform, you may have been told like, oh, I have to niche down and just talk about like for me, if somebody like, oh, I can only talk about how, cleaning my house. I can't share that I'm a yaya and that I love, getting up with the sun, and, that I am caring for my body and, and doing weight training and, all of these elements that are part of who I am. Oh, no, no, no. You only want to talk about, cleaning your house. That is old news, friends. So if you've been told that before and that has held you kind of captive, I want you to understand this concept of how you're using your social media. And this is my friend Leslie's analogy. So if you think of yourself as a tree, okay? You are the tree. You are the brand of your social media. So even if you've only ever really used your social media to share, information just with friends and family, that's you. That's why they follow you. They want to see all these things. So you're the tree. And all of these things here are the branches. This is what makes you who you are. This here, I get up with the sun. I share about Jesus. I love Young Living. Whatever. All of these pieces, I share about my planner, but they're all who I am, right? And that's what people want to see. They don't want to be just tuning into somebody's social media in order to be sold to. That's just not how it works anymore. They want an inside peek, right, at who you are and what makes you tick. And it's kind of like I consider social media a little bit more like reality TV. Does anybody watch reality TV anymore? I don't know, but that's what I kind of think about when people want to scroll and watch people's stories, right? Or, scroll on Facebook or Instagram. It is kind of the same, right? It's reality TV. You want to see what's Susan been up to today? That is the thing. And if all I ever talked about was buy my planner, how that's a commercial. You would tune out and you would go follow somebody else that was a little more interesting, right? So I just want to preface that by saying when I talk about using social media for affiliate income, You want to make sure that you are sharing more of who you are than just always posting affiliate links. Okay. So if you have questions on that, we can kind of talk a little bit more about that. But I wanted to preface all of these when you use your social media, they have to be sprinkled in. So if you think of it, like I said, like a TV show, you want to sprinkle in commercials where you talk about something that maybe you've used that has been great or whatever. You don't want to just constantly bombard. So, okay, so affiliate income is great. You are not going to become, well, I shouldn't say this, but I'm not going to become a millionaire by sharing links on my social media. However, they are a way to bring in a little bit of money, especially on things that you genuinely love and are genuinely using, and you think that your friends or family, whoever is following you, will actually benefit from that as well. So, it's you promoting a product using a unique link. So if somebody makes a purchase, then you earn a small commission. And it's typically, depending on what you're sharing, 1% to maybe 30% if you have linked up with a brand or somebody else that maybe is selling a product and they're willing to give you a higher part of that sales commission. So that is what that is what affiliate income means. So, and Amazon in particular is usually between 1 and 5%. So, I should have pulled up some statistics here. So let's just say somebody buys my favorite dish towels, they're like $9. And I think maybe I make 3%. Like literally, it's like, I might make 32 cents, or something. So you're not, like I said, you're not going to be rich. But if you think about it, I'm sorry, that's money I wouldn't have had otherwise, right? And so if you share a few things and you can get, some Amazon affiliate income that, is 15 to $30, that's going to pay for something that maybe you would need to purchase, right, for your family. So this is what I'm saying when it's streams of income. We're not talking rivers, right? We want streams. So if you start with one and then you add in a few other, that's when you'll start seeing a little bit. So payout is about 1 to 5% depending on the products. There are a couple requirements when you want to do that. And you can just go in and Google, how do I set up an Amazon affiliate link? And it's going to spit that out. You could also go to ChatGTP and it will give you a step-by-step instruction. But some of the requirements, you either need to have a website, a blog, a YouTube channel, or a public social media account, and your content must be public, so not private, okay? And then where you share your links. So if you had a blog, that is what I started, 17 years ago when I started my blog was putting, if I mentioned something, I just put the link there. And so I could probably go back to blog posts from that long ago, and there's still active links in those articles where I talked about a product. So, Instagram stories, you're probably super familiar with people, in putting a link in a story slide. You've seen me probably do it in when somebody or when you watch a reel of mine and then, you can comment something. That's an automated response that is you pay for it. It's called ManyChat, but so I would say that is not necessarily something we have to talk about because you want to kind of build up your platform first. But so Instagram stories, you can put them in YouTube video descriptions. And then if you are on Pinterest, you can actually put those affiliate links in the description of your pin that you're doing as well. So there are a lot of options about where you can put those. I will tell you, I switch things up. So I don't always link with a link right in my story slide. You'll probably have seen me say this, like just message me, right, for the link to whether it's an Amazon link or today I just happened to talk about some protein powder, that I didn't want to like because it's kind of the bandwagon, but I was like, I want to try it. And so I tried it and I did like it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to share about it. So then people will just message me and then I will just give them the link. So I think when you vary it like that, it is helpful one for the algorithm, but it doesn't always seem so like I'm only sharing that right to get a sale. So anyway, okay, so Amazon Associates, that was the first way to do affiliate income. The next one might be new to you. It was newer to me, but there's a platform. It's called Shop My. And you can find lots of different brands on that. And so some of the brands that I found that I'm using right now is the link that I share for my geometry towels. Geometry towels is on Shop My. So that could be something that you look at. The Ballerina Farms protein powder, which I just talked about today. They're on there. There's a ton of companies. And so you simply just have one account. And if there's something that you maybe have purchased or you saw, another person share about, so you know that there is a link, you just go in there and you can easily see if there is an affiliate link that you can share, and then you would earn commission as well. And then you have the option to actually create a storefront. And from what I can see, it's free. And so I'll share that link with you in the resources that I'll share here at the end of the call as well. So it might be fun to look around and see what things do I have in my home that I genuinely like, or products that I use on a regular basis, right? Same with Amazon. And you can easily create a list after you've, gotten your as Amazon affiliate set up, or your Shop My, and just create a list in your notes section on your phone. And then if somebody asks for the link or you see it, needing it in a conversation, it's easy for you to access. So you may be familiar with a lot of people using LTK. I don't use that, so I'm not familiar with it, but that's another one that you could use. I personally don't care for it, so I haven't ventured into that. So, and then brand ambassador programs. So if you, in fact, find a brand of something that you like, you can always go and look on their website. And oftentimes it will say like affiliate program or brand ambassador program. So, and then sometimes it's just as simple as finding the like share with a friend. There's so many companies that offer you the opportunity to share a link with a friend to either earn product credit or actual money. So, like for instance, Daily Harvest, I can share my link to Daily Harvest and I actually get product credit. And I'm okay with that. To me, that's money because I am going to use this product regardless as to whether I actually get other people, to try it or not. And so product credit is fine with me. There's different like Paleo Valley. I love them. And so they are a brand that I've partnered with. The shoes that I love to walk in, I've partnered with them. So just you can kind of look and see what brands of things do I use that might have a program like that as well. And so also the Wild Notes perfume that I shared about and I haven't shared for a couple of weeks, but they are a referral. They're not something you have to sign up for, but if you purchase, you get a referral link and you can refer people, and then you just make a commission when somebody purchases. And so there are just lots of things. With Simplicity, my makeup line, same thing. Lindy Well is Pilates that I love. They have a share with a friend link, and then Stitch Fix. So many friends. There's tons of those. Okay, so that was the first one, affiliate income. So, and here's my tips. Only share what you really love. Because remember, we don't want to just be a commercial selling every last thing. Yes, Azure, right? Yes, thank you. That and Azure is great because when you share and somebody makes their purchase through Azure Standard, I think it's $20 that you get on your account. I can't remember. So yes, so I'll take that. My family needs food, right? It stretches our food budget. Is it 30? Okay, see. So yeah. So just companies that you are, use often, just check and see what they have and what's offered. And so I already said this, be a friend, not a commercial, and then just stay consistent. Don't show up one week and post 32 links to all these things and then disappear, right? We know like social media doesn't mean you have to be on there every day, but you want to use that as a way to connect with people, but you want to be authentic too. Okay. Any questions on any of the affiliate stuff before I move on? Okay. Okay, you guys. The next one is creating digital products. This might be a newer kind of topic to kind of think, and you might be thinking, like, I have nothing that I love that I could create a digital product on. And so I would encourage you to think again. Okay. So I began selling digital products probably 14 years ago before they were kind of like all of the rage, because I feel like right now that is definitely how people are earning great incomes online, and not in a bad way. I mean, they're providing a product, one that is fairly easy to make, and then really easy to deliver online. And really, once it's created and you have your system for delivery, it's kind of hands off. Like you are just promoting it right at different times. And so, I mean, I will say, like with my planner, it's a lot of work on the front end, especially each year, right? I'm creating it, redoing, things. But once it launches and it's all set up in that what we call a sales funnel, right? How it goes through and how it's delivered to you, it kind of runs on its own. And so I am just having to talk about it, right? So new people see it. And then that has been great. So, and then in the meantime, I've created a few other digital products that are authentic to my audience, right? I have a decluttering guide, I have a healthy home guide. So some other pieces that kind of are cohesive to that. So when I say to you at the beginning, like, what's something that you could talk about for 3 hours? This is kind of a lane where I think, gosh, what is a digital product that you might have in you that you never even considered before? So I listened to a gal, her name is Abigail Pugh. I'll link to her Instagram on the resource page, but she's kind of one of the gurus on digital product sales and really will help identify a product that you could create, and she takes you through the process. And she's the real deal. There's a lot of people out there, friends, that will want to sell you a course for $1,000 and be like, you're going to get this, we'll get a digital product. I don't have that feeling from her. I have not taken her course to create a digital product. However, I've taken some other of her things. And so with that experience, I can truly say that she is very honest. She delivers what she says. And if in fact a digital product is something that you felt was kind of your next step, I would feel very confident in suggesting that one, that you purchase one of her programs. But she has a free podcast. You can totally look at that. Just follow her on Instagram. She's got, lots of things. She has a couple freebies. So there's things that you could look there. But it's great. You build it once, and then you just sell it over and over and over again. Okay. So ideas. So obviously a planner that I have, but that's like checklists, something that you might have. If you have it on your heart to create a simple devotional, you guys, it would be so easy to create a simple, 15-day devotional that might, come right from your heart and then be able to share it with others. You do not have to get some big book contract anymore to do these kind of things that you feel led to do. Homeschooling tools are big, right? Meal plans, anything that you might be passionate about. One of the stories that Abigail has on her podcast, it might be a couple months ago, but there was a gal that she planned her own wedding, and she planned it on a pretty tight budget. And when she was looking around for other like resources to help plan her wedding on, a more frugal budget, she couldn't find any. So what did she do? She created a digital guide to help other people plan a wedding on a budget and gave all of these tips and everything. So you definitely have something that you are passionate about. You could write, like for me, I'm like, oh, I would love to write this, but I'm not going to do it because it's not really my lane. But I love fresh milling. I could totally, put together a little guide, make a little video recording, sharing about here's how you mill, here's my mill, whatever, and put it together a guide and then sell it. So you guys, the sky is the limit. So don't feel like you don't have something that you're passionate about or something that you have knowledge on that somebody else doesn't, because we all have those things. So you can get an idea. You can either hire someone to create that digital product, or you can go into Canva and you can learn. There's tons of tutorial videos on Canva, helping, because my first freebie that I made almost 2 years ago, you guys, I had never used Canva in my life. And I just watched a video and I used somebody's template. I put in my own, photos and all of my text and everything. And I was like, okay, there we are, right? So we all start somewhere. And so there are options that you can do it on your own without spending a ton of money. So, and then the way that I sell, so once you have something, then you would have to have a platform to actually collect money and deliver the product. And so I did that for many years on my website, and it was kind of a little complicated. But now there are options. And so right now I'm using Stan.store. I'll share that link with you in that resources. And it's so simple, friends. It's really an easy way to do that. So anyway, so tips with digital products: start with something small and something that you feel would be helpful. And so even I would say you could create something that's free, right? Just see what you might be passionate about. Create something that's free that will, one, you can deliver and be, of service to other people, deliver that freebie to people, and you can just do that manually. It's not like you're going to have 500 people requesting a freebie from you, more than likely, unless your account is huge. And so you can just simply put that in a Google Drive and then just attach a Google Drive link. Here, grab my freebie, right? So you could start out really simple and just offer something for free. If that kind of resonates with people and people are asking for more, then oh, there's a market for whatever, XYZ. And then you might want to go and create something more detailed. So decluttering, people don't know how to declutter. And so something like that, if you feel like, oh, that's a specialty, or maybe decorating your home on a budget, that's your specialty. You love that. Those are all things that people will buy. And that's where I said in the beginning, right? You have to believe you have something to offer because you do. Okay. Okay. Um, see, I said start with something small, ask your audience what they might want. That's a great way. The people that follow you say like, hey, if I was going to create, a digital product or, a guide on, and you could even come up with 5 different things on blah, 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 which is the one that would most resonate with you? See what they say, because that's going to give you a good idea, right? See? Yes, decluttering and organizing. So good. You could do a step by step how to organize your pantry. So, that, it's easy for everybody in your family to find where things are. So many good things. Okay. And then, okay, I talked about, sorry, my coffee maker's cleaning itself. Okay, so will give you Abigail's information. But I really, yeah, she's a great resource to follow for sure. Okay, so we covered affiliate, we covered digital products, or we kind of just touched on digital products. But the third one is selling on Etsy. I have a small amount of experience there, but it is great. You can sell printables or digital products on Etsy as well. Okay. And it's great for any kind of handmade goods. So if you like to make candles or soaps, or are a knitter or a crocheter and you want to make baby hats or scarves or baby blankets, any kind of thing like that. So labels, recipes, homeschool tools, like I said, digital products you could do on Etsy as well. And then if you are one that loves to go to thrift stores or antique shops, and that's an area that you're gifted in, and you can see something and say, oh, I know that that is valuable, or that would be such a great piece for somebody to have in their home. There's a lot of people that resell those kind of items on Etsy, and we're going to circle back with that one too in when we talk about eBay. Um, so Etsy, I was selling digital products on Etsy, and then it got to be just a little one more place for me to not have to show up because I ended up having such success on Instagram. So I removed my items from Etsy, but I was selling there. And so, but you can even go on and scan Etsy and see what kind of digital products, what kind of printables are there. And then that might jog your memory. Maybe you have an idea that might be just a tweak from something else that somebody else has, right? So we don't want to copy somebody, right? But you can use it for inspiration. Okay. Seasonal bundles are great too. So if you love to do homeschooling stuff and you wanted to do like a fun fall little packet for preschoolers or, toddlers or, kindergarteners, people love those kind of things. And then you can also promote through Pinterest. So Pinterest, we're not going to dive into that, but Pinterest you can use to promote traffic, not only to a blog, but to your Etsy shop. You can promote to your Facebook page or, your Instagram. So that's a whole nother topic because that's not a specialty for me right now. But okay. The next one is selling on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. So a little background. Part of my story is when I was a single mom, and this is where I got oh yeah, I've been doing stuff like this for 25 years. I actually would go to thrift stores and mainly Goodwill stores in our area, and I would purchase books. And I was able to look up their ISBN number on a website. It's no longer there anymore, but it was called half.com or halfbooks.com or something. And I could see how much a book was selling for. And so then I knew, oh, if I could get that book for 50 cents and it was selling for $8, I was buying that book and I would just simply go home and list that book very easily. And then I was selling books. I had under our stairs in our little condo, it was surrounded all sides with bookshelves, and all of these books that I was basically reselling was in there. And my kids and I, we just kind of laugh about it now because one, like I was finding streams of income, right, to support my family. I was also cleaning house on the side and I was a flight attendant. So I had several different things happening. But that gave us extra in our budget. And so I don't know if that is still a thing, to look at to do books, but there's so many other things that you could be reselling. Like I said, what are you passionate about? Is it antiques? Maybe it's children's clothing, and you can go to consignment shops or even, thrift stores and find things that are in good condition. If you were to group a little bundle of, like five toddler, tops in size 3T and sell them, on eBay. Though that's what people do. And so it's super easy. I would say my experience with selling on eBay is doing bundles like that, or what they call lots. So not necessarily selling one thing at a time because that can be very tedious, but doing it in bundles. So kids' clothing, homeschool supplies, home good items that you find, like decor items, also. And then I already talked about books. So you can do this both on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. It just depends on, kind of the area that you live in. If it's an active Facebook Marketplace, then you'll do very well. If maybe you're a little more remote, you may end up, having to ship things, which is totally fine, but you'll want to make sure that you keep that right in mind when you're listing things for sale and doing pricing. And then I'm going to link to the blog post where I kind of gave more step-by-steps on how to be successful selling on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. So I'll share that too. I was going to say something else on this. Because if you followed me for a while and you were here a year ago, I would say you probably already know this story, but my wedding china from my first marriage, I had packed it up every time we moved and I rarely used it. And finally, when we moved here to this house, I'm like, I don't think I'm really going to use this. I mean, it's pretty, but I really love my everyday dishes and they're super versatile. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to sell this. And so I did just that. And I started listing those pieces of china on eBay and I made $1,800. So I think it was over a span of like 6 months, but I grouped my china like, four dinner plates or four salad plates. And so people would buy them in little bundles. And so if you have something like that, that is, valuable, um, just go in and you can see, what you might be able to make just from stuff that you have in your own home, right? There's a college book sell rent chat or called Chegg and look at thrift stores. Yes, oftentimes a lot of the books that I was able to get large sums of money for were college textbooks. So yes, that I think there is still a huge market for that. So okay, so, but I would say if you're going to do reselling, right, going out and buying things and then reselling them, make sure that it's something that you have a little bit of knowledge on, right? You just don't want to, grab a bunch of things and then try to resell them. Know kind of what things are worth, as well. So, okay. Next one, we're going to touch on network marketing. So if you have an opinion about network marketing, that is totally fine, but I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't talk about it because there are just a lot of benefits to the concept. And I think when it's done with heart, it truly is impactful and it's really sustainable. So just my experience, I've been with two network marketing companies. So I'll take you back probably like 27 years when I started with Pampered Chef. Anybody like have ever I'm a Pampered Chef gal, and that was my goat. So in fact, I was doing that when my daughter, shoot, I think she was like 4 or 5 and she's 32 now. So, but and I actually did fairly well at the beginning and I earned a trip to Disney World. I remember I was pregnant with my son. We went in July and I think I was like 7 or 8 months pregnant. It was so it was so hot for this Pacific Northwest girl. But and then I went to the convention in Chicago and so it was fun. I joined Pampered Chef because I loved their products. So it made sense. I also love to cook. So it fit, right? It was very authentic. It was very genuine. I really wanted to get a lot of those products in my home. And here's the kicker, you guys. Many of those things that I had 25 years ago, like I still have in my home. So it was definitely, right? Quality over quantity. And I loved it. Yes. Pampered Chef, right? I still love Pampered Chef. Yes. Yeah, Avon, right? There's so many different things. So anyway, so that is where I kind of started on the journey of, network marketing or multi-level sales. And so it was fun. But I will say, after a little bit of time, it got a little bit old because I was having to find hostesses and cart my stuff to different people's homes. And I don't even know if they still do it the same way then, but I actually was cooking right in front of people, right? And all of that. So it was enjoyable. But after a while, it was kind of like, okay, I think my season has passed. So, and then fast forward about 12 years ago when I was searching for, some health issue, health solutions for my health, right? I struggled with being on an antidepressant for over 16 years and was told I needed to get off. And so I was really looking at other holistic ways to help me do that because I had tried before. And so that's when I started looking at essential oils. And then I bought, a kit from Young Living. And, the rest is kind of history for me. I've been with this company for almost 12 years. And I think for me, I didn't join this company looking for an income stream. I would join this company because I truly was looking for something to change my health, right? And one of the things that I think have loved knowing and learning over the last 12 years is that our company, Young Living, leads with the product, kind of like Pampered Chef. They lead with the product. You're not going to be, I'm not leading somebody to come join me with Young Living to build a business. So I love sharing about the product. I love sharing my story. People, when they, heard my story of being able to get off of antidepressants, everybody wanted to know, what did you do, right? And then it just kind of exploded. People wanted my referral link, and then everything just kind of grew from there. So it wasn't necessarily an intentional move on my part. But now I can look back and I just see how God used my experience. And then even, a little further in, I was surrounded by others that very, so much smarter in the way that the body operated and what it needed to do in order to actually heal than me. And I got to be surrounded by this community that are truly genuine people that want to help other people, even when they don't make a buck by doing so. Because so many times I'm asking other people, about an issue, or maybe somebody, that I've been chatting with, I need some help because I don't quite understand. And they are so gracious by just sharing their wealth of information. Had I not gotten into this company, and been surrounded by that, I don't know that I would be free from my lupus symptoms now that I haven't had any for over 8 years, because I wouldn't have known what to do, or it would have taken me so long. So anyway, so all that to say, that wasn't my intention, but I have built a business from those people that I have referred to Young Living, and I've helped others build a business as well. And so I've been paid every single month from Young Living for over 11 years. The only purchase I've ever had to make was the original starter kit. I have made money every single month, and my paycheck is always on time. And I find such joy in that. So this isn't a pitch for Young Living, but I just need to say, because I think sometimes network marketing gets a bad rap because we've had bad experiences with, people that really just want us to come join the business, right? Because they get ahead, right? When that happens. Well, that's how the structure is, right? But if you really aren't sharing authentically and truly wanting to help others, it's very clear, right? And that feels really icky. It feels very salesy. So I love to share solutions. If they fit with somebody or they're ready to take the next step, why, yes, I would love to have you join my community, because I know that I'm empowering others in that. So I think being consistent and truly being authentic. I mean, I will tell you, I'm not going to sit there and rave that Young Living has the best product of everything. There's a lot of things that I don't use in my home, that Young Living carries, but that's okay, because there's a lot of things that I do love and I use, and I will shout from the rooftops, right? And really wanting to serve others. And one of the things that I think is really clear, if you're looking at network marketing, there's lots of other companies. Like I said, I only have experience with these two. But I would be looking at, right, the commission structure. What does that look like for you actually earning money on a regular basis? And then what is their product line? Does it really offer some variety? Or is it just one or two products that are very specific? And then is it consumable? Because one of the things I think with Pampered Chef, and it's a great company, they have wonderful things, but what did I just say to you? I still have products that I purchased 25 years ago from them. So it's not like I'm having to be necessarily a repeat customer, right? And so if you're offering, or you're looking at a company that has a product that is consumable, then you will have repeat customers. And that actually builds the connection and the community, and where you are, have more stability in your income, if that makes sense. So, and this statistic, I think, is where we're headed. So the wellness industry is growing like crazy. So the global market is expected to hit $6.8 trillion in 2025. That is a massive amount of money. So I'm excited to stay where I'm at and just keep doing what I'm doing because it's been a wonderful way that I have been able to serve others, but also contribute in my family budget. So, and there are tax write-offs when you have a home-based business. So even, you would want to ask your tax person. So if you're earning income on affiliates and different things like that, if you don't have like a home business set up, I don't know what the tax write-offs look like for just those exclusively, but because I, have my Young Living business and now I have the blog too that they're kind of molded into one. We have a lot of tax write-offs that we're eligible to do. And so that is always great. So anyway, if the Young Living thing is kind of an interest to you, there's a little video that just kind of talks about social selling and what that looks like. That it's in the resource thing, and then I'm going to be offering some mentoring soon if anybody's curious about that. So the next one is online teaching or tutoring. So like I said, you all have something that you are passionate about. You have a skill, you know something that someone else doesn't know. So, how can you leverage that? You have the ability to do that either teaching live in person, or you can record a video of you teaching something. You can put it in a little bundle and sell it. You can just easily upload it to YouTube as a private video and then give people a password too. There's so many options on what that looks like. So I know like sourdough, like I don't do sourdough. If I were to want to start to do sourdough, I would love to go over to somebody's house that I know and have them walk me through the process. I'm a visual learner. There's probably a lot of people, right, that are visual learners. And so having that expertise and putting something together, one, you're building community if you do something in person, but you could totally record a video like that as well and make a little course on how to get started with sourdough or whatever. So maybe you like to knit or you like to crochet or whatever is a skill set. Maybe you like to like pickle vegetables, or do other things like that. Very easily could you create a little guide and have it be part of a video and then teach that either in person or online. So, and here's the thing, you guys, you do not have to have a degree to teach something, right? I think that was years ago. It was very important that we had letters out after our name to say we were a real teacher or we were educated in something. That's just not the case now. People are interested to learn things and you have a gift to offer. So you could also teach on Zoom classes. So different topics you could totally and charge, $5 or $10 or, even more, depending on what you're going to, have that class on. And then you sell the replays. Easy to record, keep the recording, and then you could sell the replays. You could do one-on-one coaching or group classes as well. So just kind of looking at the options of one, what are some things that you know how to do that maybe other people don't? And then how could you monetize that, right? So it's great. So I said sourdough, fresh milled flour classes, homeschool how-tos, kids crafting or cooking. Like you could, how fun would it be to set up a simple kids cooking class where you just make some videos, right? And you have like, here's 10 simple recipes to teach your kids. And you just come up with the recipes, make a little guide, and then do 10 little videos. And you have a product that you can sell. Freezer meal prep, another one. Put together 10 freezer meals and then do a little video on how you would do it. And you can then, right, put in your Amazon affiliate links like freezer cubes, like here's what you would use for this. And you can include those things. So I would say some of the tips if you're doing online teaching or tutoring is you want to keep it short. So 30 to 60 minutes is kind of that sweet spot. You can make handouts or a digital guide using Canva. And then if once you first get started, you can simply just sell that as going through like somebody just pays you on Venmo or something like that. You don't have to set up a whole system like using Stan.store or another like I think there is Shopify you could sell on like that. But I would say first come up with an idea, put it together, and then simply kind of manually sell it and see how that goes because then you'll know, oh, this is something that people want. Then I will take the next step and, pay to get stan.store or sign up for Flow Desk. And so I'll talk about that in a second too, because I didn't mention that earlier. So but I want to just kind of say what feels normal to you and what you just do every day may not be normal for someone else. And so just remember that because for me, I think cleaning my house and just doing the things that I'm doing or how to clean a toilet. Who doesn't know how to clean a toilet? Well, I got a rude awakening to see there were a lot of people that really didn't know how to clean a toilet. And so that blew my mind. And so I'm like, okay, I need to do some more tutorials because this is what people want. So, but it could really be life-changing for somebody else. Okay. So the last one was home goods. So we talked kind of, you could sell home goods like on Etsy. You could do this on eBay too. You could do it on Facebook Marketplace, especially locally. But simple homemade things, they really have value. I literally can't believe that there is just a home bakery a couple miles from me, and she sells sourdough, her concoctions, and people pay $12 for a loaf of sourdough. And literally, she sells out all the time. So don't feel there isn't a market for something, but you could make homemade granola. You could make elderberry syrup. You could put together bread kits. So maybe you do sourdough. You could put together a little bread kit that you sell that would have the basic ingredients that somebody would need to get started. You could do sugar scrubs. You can do plant sprays or make candles or soaps. And then where to sell them. You could do a local farmers market. Sometimes that's kind of expensive to get a booth there, but depending on, your resources, that might be a great place to get started. You can do porch pickup, right? If you are doing, selling on Facebook Marketplace, that is super easy. And then different kind of bazaars that you probably will find, especially this fall, right? If you wanted to enter into doing homemade goods, then that would be the epic place, right? Because people are going to these holiday bazaars and things looking for homemade items. And so, anyway, so I don't have experience in selling any homemade items, but I know that there's big business. People really will pay for homemade things. So right now, if you made some pickled jalapenos and sold them, I bet you would sell out, or pickled red onions or green beans. Like this is what you could do. If that was your specialty and you know how to do some canning, you could totally make a nice little sum of money right now by making those, putting them on your Facebook, putting on Facebook Marketplace, whatever. So many options. So, okay, so we covered a lot here. So you just paid $20 for a gluten-free sourdough. Oh my gosh. See, we crunchy mamas, especially, I feel we will pay for good quality food. I will pay for good quality food. So I love that. Okay. So again, you do not have to do all 7 of these things, but truly just think about what is one thing that kind of like, oh, when she mentioned that, that was one that kind of I want to dig in and I want to see because that's how it starts. So, and it needs to fit your current season and just realize that something might interest you, but maybe it doesn't fit the current season you're in right now, but it could in a couple years, right? So maybe there's something else that you could do right now. So, and just start small because I'm telling you guys, if 17 years ago, I wouldn't have started this silly blog, which I thought was silly because I trained to be a parent coach. I thought all these parents were going to come flocking, to me, wanting me to coach them. And that's not what happened. I had to start a blog because people had no idea where to even find me. And so here I am, 17 years later making and I don't say so hear my heart. I'm not saying this to boast because it's not me. The Lord has opened doors for me because I have been obedient and just kept stepping forward. But I make 2 separate 6-figure incomes from the work that I started 17 years ago to this day. So to say that I am passionate about helping you figure out one thing to start and then just keep growing from there, like this is real. And like I said, it's not me. I am so grateful and it's hard work, but I love it. And there's just so many opportunities and potential available. I think when we just kind of open our eyes and get a little creative and decide we're gonna do something, and maybe it feels scary and it's just different, right, than what we're used to because we're used to going to somebody else, right, to get hired to perform a job, and then they get to tell us what they're going to pay us, right, and when we're going to work. And so when you can start incorporating some of these ways to bring some income in for your family, it really does make a difference. Okay. Okay. I'm going to answer these questions in a second. I'm just going to put this document here that just has some of the links. So one of the things I didn't talk about was Flowdesk. So Flowdesk is an email delivery system. And so if in fact you start doing one or some of these things, one of the best things that you can do is start collecting email addresses and having a place to put those. Flowdesk is what I have used for the last few years. It is definitely the less expensive option. I think you can actually join fairly quick, or I mean, sorry, fairly inexpensively. So I would say if you start something and you collect emails, on your own and keep them, on a Word document so that you can keep in touch with people that have made a purchase from you, that is going to be smart because you just never know when social media isn't going to be there. So having those contacts is really helpful. Like if you do homemade bread and then every Friday you drop, a new option to for people to purchase, you can simply send out a quick email or something. So okay, so let's see. Can I speak to what's the most income producing and where you find is best to put your time? um I would say right now, that's a hard one. um I would say it's probably still kind of my Confident Mom brand and the digital products that, I have. I still have some pretty big goals on reaching more people with my planner. And so for me, um, spending a little more time doing some reels and trying to reach new audience, that's going to be a better income producing opportunity, or I guess potential for me because, right, I've already made the product. It's there. I just need to reach more people to sell more copies of it, if that makes sense. And I mean, I've still, right? I mean, I've sold more this year than I did last year. And so it's just kind of how it goes, but that would be for me. So, but for me as well, my Young Living business, right? It is steady, right? I have been doing this for almost 12 years and the income has gone up and down, but it's very steady. And so I don't have to spend a ton of time there necessarily. But I do, offer support and education and, mentoring others that want to, learn to share authentically using their referral links. So I don't know. I would say it's probably 60 to 70% still my Confident Mom brand and those digital products versus the Young Living. I don't even track the affiliate income like my Amazon or the things that I make from those other sources. I personally don't even track that. I feel like that's just fluff at this point because it's really not very much money. I would say I would have to ask my husband because he's a great bookkeeper, but I would say at this point, even as much as I share, it might be $500 a month with all of the different affiliates that I share. So yeah, and I could be a little bit wrong. So I don't know if that answers your question. If it doesn't, go ahead and clarify. So and then any tips? Well, I'm an introvert, Denise. I'm an introvert. So for me, so like today, I did this Zoom. I come on a Zoom and I am giving, right? I am engaged. I am here. So I will be laying low the rest of the day. So I know when I am like teaching in the Confident Homemaker Collective and I have a Zoom to do, and my family knows now, like this is my time to kind of like be on, then I will lay low the rest of the day and I just have that time, right, to recharge for myself. So, um, my children follow? Not yet. They are not following in my footsteps. Maybe I mean, I think they want to look for different ways. My daughter-in-law, she is sweet and adorable, and I think she would love to earn an income using social media, but she's in the thick of really tiny kids, and I think it's beyond her capacity right now. Any recommendations for starting a public platform on Instagram or YouTube? So I would say for Instagram, I would just show up and I would just have it be your name. I have often actually considered just changing my Confident Mom Instagram just to my name, Susan Heid. And so I don't know, maybe I will, but like I said, remember in the beginning, you are the brand, you're the tree, right? And you have all of these things. So it's you, right? Unless you already have an established business, which I did, right? I would just start under your name and have it be public, determine what you are comfortable with sharing and what you're not, right? There's a lot of people, they don't want to share faces of children, and that's okay. You can share, still share parts of your life, but share backs of heads on, when you're talking about maybe, kiddo or something like that. So I think that, that's a whole topic of on itself of just determining what does that look like for you? What are you going to be comfortable sharing and kind of going from there. So, and then for YouTube as well, I would say the same. Mine, it's unfortunate. It says Confident Mom, but I mean, it's like, it's been a long time for me, but I would just use your name because that to me is really kind of what is, I don't want to say in right now because I don't see it necessarily going away. But that is what it would suggest. Okay. Uh, you're welcome. Okay. For someone who doesn't have a blog, do you have tips for getting a very simple and easy web page? Oh my gosh. I should have found this question before. So I will ask my assistant because she is very versed in some of these things. I would say if you are looking for a blog for writing blog posts, I would Google or go to ChatGTP and ask that question because it's probably going to spit out some ideas that are going to be really very accurate and that yes, you don't have to have a blog site or a website for Amazon. I think it was one or the other. So if you have a public profile on Instagram, that would count for the Amazon. So yeah. But again, I would just kind of go and look at ChatGTP or, type in some of these things and then you can it will spit out a step by step for you. And so then you'll know. So yeah. And then there are a few, like if you wanted to set up something simple for your Instagram, there's like Linktree and there's some other free sites where you can simply list some of things, right? Linked into your bio there so that they're always there. But I will tell you just from my own experience, most people aren't going to your bio and then clicking that link and then like, oh, I'm going to spend money today. I'm going to shop. What affiliate links does she have there, right? I mean, they're great to have there because you can refer people, but you are going to have the most success when you're actually linking in, where you're actually talking about the product. So what about ChatGTP to help with digital products? Yes, I think if you went there and you said, I love gardening and, fill in some things in, what do you think would be a great digital product or a guide that I could come up with? And then you can kind of go through that, right, with ChatGTP, and it would probably even help outline something for you. The only thing I'm going to just say is that be sure to make it sound like you and not just take something strictly from ChatGTP, because somebody will purchase that and they're going to see right through that. It's just very kind of like blah blah, and giving a lot of information, but maybe not a lot of personal story or connection in that. So, but ChatGTP is a great tool. You just need to make sure that you're using it and tweaking what it's spitting back out at you. And then, the more you use ChatGTP, it gets to know you and kind of like words that you use, and you get to train it. So it can be a very powerful tool, but you want to make sure that it remains very authentic to you and that you are sharing personal stories too. So, okay. Any other questions? You guys hung for a while. Thank you. All right. Okay. Well, as always, if you have questions after the fact, you can always message me on Instagram and or Facebook. I'm so happy to help. And, I want to inspire you guys. Just pick one thing and just do something, because, that's how it starts. So we're talking streams, remember, not rivers, Although I feel like some days I'm at the fire hydrant where things are coming at me, and I'm so grateful. But it started with just doing one thing. And so I just want to encourage you in that. So, all right, you guys, we will see you over on Instagram. Take care.